Hi, Gemini, Sun, Moon, and Ascendant. This is Dane, and I'm going to be doing your June 1st to the 15th, 2023 reading for you. Now, I ask if this reading resonates with you. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. It helps me out more than you guys will ever know. It's getting me seen again by the YouTube algorithm when I had to take that break to take care of sick family members. So, thank you so much for liking, for commenting, for subscribing. You guys are absolutely amazing, and I love you all. I really do. If you're interested in any of the cards that I'm using, they will all be listed in the description box below. Now, before we begin this reading, let us clear the energy space, raising our own energy vibration and releasing any negativity. This cleanse and meditation will be accompanied by a loud sound. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. Releasing all negativity from the body like storm clouds, letting yourself feel calm, centered, and at peace as we enter into this safe and loving space. So let's see the energy we need to be mindful of during this time. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly, angels and spirit guides. Ooh, the Eight of Cups. Our temper, I just got, your temper can get the best of you. Come through really clearly here, Gemini. We can get really mad at something and be like, that's it, I'm walking out. And it's not time yet. So just beware of this. Just beware that our first reaction during this time, even though it's the Eight of Cups reversed, which is saying, we're staying, which is saying we're not walking out, but our first reaction is like, that's it, I'm leaving, and it's like, we're not going anywhere. We're not there yet, even if it would be healthy for us to leave. Okay, not if we're in an abusive situation. That's not what spirit is talking about. But spirit is saying, if we're in a situation where we want something different, something more, it's not time yet to leave. There's something more that we're building, and yet we're going to want to. We're going to want to walk right out. Like, yeah, we're just going to want to get up and walk. I see us like walking over everybody's heads, type of deal. It's like we're going to walk out, but mentally, that's it. Mentally, we've checked out long before we're going to check out. So just be aware of this. Just be aware that we can be just disinterested in things because we're already gone. And with the Gemini, like once we think it, that's it. It's done. That type of thing. So let's see what Spirit has to say here. Angels and Spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. All right, so we have relax. We need to do things that make us relax, that calm us down. We could have certain things that we like to do that we think, oh, they're relaxing, but they're not actually. So just be aware of this. We need to calm ourselves down. We need to center ourselves. We need to really focus on relaxation. And also with our response to things, because we're going to be a little bit feisty, to say the least, during this time. And we need to kind of respond to things with a cooler head, with calmer emotions coming to things. I just see us being very fiery. And I don't know exactly why, but our air sign energy is just going to fuel that fire. It's just going to be like, I'm feeling that fire. I'm feeling that fire. And I don't know where the fire energy is from. It could be from our moon or our rising, but it could also be from somewhere else in a chart or somebody that we're working with their fire energy. And we're just going to be really fueling that fire during this time. So let's see what the tarot has to say. Oh, also, we're going to take a lot of things personally. Spirit just said that. We're going to take a lot of things personally. And one of the main lessons we're going to have to learn during this time is not everything is about us, which sounds really egotistical to say, but it's like you can't fix everything. You can't, make everything right. And not everything everybody says do you have to take to heart. So just be aware of this. It's going to be hard. It is during this time, but it's going to be a good thing to know. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Okay, a lot of cards. All right. So what's really cool here is that we're starting off with a celebration. Well, not starting off, but we have a celebration here. There's a really big emphasis during this time on resting, a really big emphasis on resting, on making sure you prioritize your sleep, but also your relaxation. That's going to be really important. Are you going to feel like working? Not really. Not really during this time. We can also have a really difficult time with having things be super ordered or super structured. We can really want to rebel against that. But we can also just be having a bit of time, a bit of difficulty with the Taurus energy. Now, if we're born on the cusp of Taurus or Taurus energy is in our chart, that part of our personality might be proving to be a bit difficult for us. Or if we have a Taurian in our lives, it could be a bit of a difficult, relationship right now. Or there's something here where we could be they could be talking, we could be taking what they say as insults and it's not insults, and then a whole big misunderstanding comes up. That can be very, very easy. Okay? We are going to be very much students during this time. We take in information, we learn new information. This is a time where we're like sponges. We can just gather up everything. Okay, so be aware of that. Spirit is literally going to be sending you messages. I don't know if you're going to get something in the post that's like, oh my gosh, how did you know to say that, send this type of thing? But there's going to be a message from Spirit coming through so profoundly during this time. You have a strong link with Cancer energy. Cancer energy is, is the time frame of June 21st to July 22nd. The Taurus energy, now that's the energy that we've just come out of, and that's April 20th to May 20th. That could have been a really difficult time for us for one reason or another. So just be aware of this. But here we're really taking our emotions, we're really taking what we desire and we're reining them in. And we have a very clear vision on what we want. It's very interesting that like work, maybe we're not that into right now. We kind of like have to make ourselves sit down and work, sit down and do what we need to do type of thing. But once we do that, my gosh, can we just take off? My gosh, can we be like the hardest thing? When they say the hardest thing is to start, that's going to be so true for us, Gemini. The hardest thing is going to be to start. But then once we start, we're like wildfire. I mean, really, we spread so quickly. We get things done so quickly, or we get so focused and just have such power. But it's the getting it done that can be a little bit tricky for us. With the Six of Wands, this is actually going to be a time that we celebrate. The 6th month is June, right? So this can be a time, it's also our time, right? Our time is from the 21st of May to the 20th of June. We can really see ourselves celebrating us. And that could be why working and doing fiddly things, and being really concentrated is a bit hard because we want to celebrate. We want to have a lot of free flowing energy coming forward. Now we're crowned with Justice, and Justice is Libra energy. So here we're crowned with Libra energy, yes, but we're cutting through doubts and fears and negativity. So we can have a really strong relationship with a Libra, but also a really strong sense of justice, what is right and what is wrong. We want things to be balanced, but as a Gemini energy, as the twins, we're never really balanced. We're either one way, more one twin than the other, coming forward. So here we can even be looking to balance the energy within ourselves. Excuse me, to really have ourselves be a lot more successful. And we can be really focusing on success. We can feel like business, work, whatever it is, it hasn't been going the way that we wanted it to. It might not be that we're not into work, but it's just overwhelming. There's always more and more and more. We don't feel like we can catch up. So be aware of this. If we can really implement a good filing system, during this time, I hate that. I hate, patience and filing systems and practicality. But if we can do that for ourselves, it would just be so beneficial during this time. But there's a real sense also of cutting through a lot of things in our lives that aren't just, aren't fair, and really taking back control during this time. It's like I'm taking back my life. Now, with Judgment, here, these are the sleepers, and I love the sleepers in this deck. This is the Llewellyn Tarot deck, and this is one of my favorites. As you can see, it's like super well used. When I first started this channel, this is the only deck I would use because I was so comfortable with it, and I wasn't comfortable with any other deck the same way. With the sleepers in Welsh mythology, in the Arthurian legends, the Arthur's greatest allies were put to sleep with him. Greatest knights were put to sleep with him, so that when Wales needed them again, they would rise up and they would fight. And here, there's a part of us that's starting to awaken. There's a part of us that has been asleep Like this part of our spiritual journey, we haven't quite embraced yet. But now, this part of us is awakening, and we're going to see ourselves moving in a very different direction. Sleep is going to be really important. Why? I just feel like we can get really burnt out really, really easily during this time. So just be aware of this. And we can also be coming out of a really stressful time period, which makes it so that sleep is just so much more important to us. With the Four of Swords, again, talking about sleep, two in a row, you know? So here, there's a part of us that is awakening or that has been hibernating. And that's also what we get from the sleepers. I love that these two cards are mirroring each other so well. There's also a pathway forward that like hasn't been seen or hasn't been trusted. So just be aware of that. There's some part of you that is asleep because you're not sure if you can trust it or not. You know, here, sleeping out in the snow, okay, that's one thing, but there's a dorm and you could be sleeping somewhere warm. But is that not to be trusted? Did we not think of that? You know, did we overlook it? That type of deal is coming forward. Like, are we looking at every angle? With the Four of Swords, creating a canopy over her head, the mind is going to be one of the main things that we protect during this time. And we have the dog right here, which I always saw as snow up until, after using these cards for quite some time. And then I saw that it was actually a dog here. So there's a sense, I always see this as somebody unexpected watching over us. This could be our ancestors. This could be, family members, friends, just somebody even at work that we're not aware of. They're aware of us. Just know this. But even when we rest, we might not fully be resting. We have our armor on, right? And our armor on has it so that we're always protected. But are we always comfortable in our own skin? And that's the question we have to ask ourselves. And what aren't we comfortable with? What is overwhelming to us? With the Eight of Pentacles reversed, this can also be being really tired of the monotony. We want to change in things, right? We don't want to be carving the same pentacle on the same disc over and over and over again. We want to create more. So we can be looking for something more to do, like some sort of project or something that expands our minds, expands ourselves. With the Eight of Pentacles reversed as well, we can really have a hard time sitting down and starting our work. Now, once we start, that can be a completely different story. But just know during this time, being disciplined with ourselves, being stricter with ourselves, that's going to be important. With the Eight of Pentacles also reversed, there is just this sense of, am I getting it right? Not even knowing if our hard work is paying off. And there's a real question mark there. Now, with Taliesin energy, I love Taliesin in Celtic mythology, right? He's this poet that wasn't supposed to be, right? He's the child of Carwyn, I believe, and he got, there's a whole big story of how he came to be, but he never was supposed to be this great oh, I'm so sorry. I have super bad allergies right now, so do bear with me. He wasn't ever supposed to be this talented, magnificent bard, and that's what he became. So knowing here that there's something in us that is awakening, that is way more talented than we think it is. Or there's a part of us that's like, I was supposed to be more, yet I'm not there yet. And we can be really frustrated with our age, with, the natural progression of things. So here, with this reverse, it's like we don't want to be told what to do. We don't want to look at anybody else. We're feeling like we're not fitting into the mainstream. Be aware of this. I just see this as I'm tapping into energy that is greater than me, but it's taking its time coming forward, and we're upset because it's like, well, how much time is left, or how long will this take, type of thing. But I do see a part of us is awakening, and it's going to be like this part that we're like, oh, that's where I need to be, but we have to sit down and work towards it. And I know some of us are going to be really frustrated because it's like, well, what do you think I've been doing? But Spirit is saying here, we have to sit down, and now would be actually a really good time to sit down, even though we don't want to, because we don't want to do anything right now that we don't want to do, or even things that we do want to do, we can kind of lose interest in it rather quickly. We need to sit down and we need to say, this is where I'm going, this is what I'm doing, this is what I need. Because we're such students, we're such students during this time, and Spirit's going to be giving us messages. The white horse here walks between the spirit world and the waking world, and we're just going to have that gift during this time to see so much more than we thought, to hear, to understand so much more. So just being aware of this is going to be very, very, very important for us. Cutting through doubts and fears and negativity also is going to be a great thing for us. But there's a real sense of us asking the questions, of us diving deeper, of us looking at what we want, what we're discovering, where we need to be for ourselves. And then we take the reins, because once the new ideas start flowing, and that can take a little bit to really give ourselves permission to be as curious as we want to be, as, kind of wonder seeking as we want to be. We want to seek wonder. We love to seek beautiful things. That's just part of a Gemini's life. And we can feel like our wings have been clipped in one way or another, which is like a curse for a Gemini, right? If we feel like our wings have been clipped, or if we feel like we can't discover, ask questions, go deeper, it's like, what's the point? But here, what we're going to see is that there's so much more to us. There's so much more. Starting is going to be the hardest part. And it's almost like we're fighting against like somebody's, kind of like giving us the evil eye type of thing, somebody's ill wishes. I know that sounds fanciful to say, but it really does feel like somebody's like, no, you can't do this. And it's like, but I can. And they might have spoken that negativity over us a long, long time ago, like very much like, Sleeping Beauty's curse, right? Where you'll prick your finger on the spindle, and you'll fall asleep, and you won't be able to have what you want. So just be aware of this, that we're fighting against something that could be, within our spirit, within our soul, within ourselves, within our, chi energy, life energy, our reincarnated energy that we're fighting against. And it's going to be really interesting, because once we break free of that, and we will break free of that, it can take us, till Cancer time period. It could have started in Taurus time period, where we've just felt stuck, and it could be that we had a bit of a difficulty starting with work, or like we get things done, but it feels like pulling teeth type of thing. And then all of a sudden, we're going to see ourselves really catapulting forward, being able to use our creativity, our knowledge, our insight, being able to charge forward with real determination, with real, power and fervency of being, to get to where we want to be, to go and rein in our emotions and use them as the greatest tool forward for us that we could possibly imagine. There's a sense that we were trying to make us into something we're not. We were trying to fit a mold that we just weren't going to fit. And here, it's like, once we rein in our emotions and we accept what we excel at, then there's a sense of real success, of really being celebrated. It might not be by, the whole entire world, but who needs that? It's being celebrated by ourselves, by our loved ones, by just a few close people who are like, well done, Gemini. And we feel like it was well done. We feel like we've come out of this time, even though it's only 15 days. We come out of this time wiser and a little bit better, a little bit more, holding our heads just a little bit higher. And there's something to be said for that. It moves us to our subconscious energy to be mindful of. We can be really focused with the Four of Cups. We can be really focused on, like, it has to be this way. It has to be this way. It's like to use another fairy tale reference, when Cinderella's stepsisters try to shove their foot into the slipper, right? In the original story, they don't just try to shove their foot in, but they cut off the part of their foot that doesn't, that doesn't fit. Are we cutting off a part of ourselves that doesn't fit into what we believe we should be? What society is telling us we should be. But if we turn around and we see divinity's plan for us, it's like, it opens up the world so much more. It opens up ourselves so much more, and we don't have to lose any part of us. It moves us then to our subconscious message from spirit, and it's blossom. There's something here where we feel stunted. We feel like, I can't blossom, I can't become. What is that? What is that, Gemini? What has us stuck? Because I feel like it is, what spirit is showing me is that it's something very much in the present world. It's not something that we have to meditate on for hours, or that we have to go to intensive therapy with, or anything like that. It's something that if we start, kind of like clearing out, all of a sudden, the blossoming that was on pause accelerates. And it brings us then to our subconscious tarot message, which is the Eight of Swords, which makes perfect sense. Subconsciously, we're way too much in our own heads. We are, we think we know what everybody else is thinking, which we might. We might be really empathically sensitive to the world around us. But I was just watching a Navajo, you know, shaman healer talk, and he said, you can't be too sensitive. That is one of the things that keeps you from being a good healer. Because if everything hurts you, then who can you help? Because you're not even able to help yourself. So here, and of course, correct me if I'm wrong with that. But here with the Eight of Swords, there's very much a sense of like, I get caught in my own head too much. I'm overthinking, I'm overanalyzing, and I'm stuck. And so here for us Gemini, we need to see, where are we overthinking, where are we overanalyzing, where are we stuck? Because subconsciously we're making a cage for ourselves. And consciously during this time, a cage is the last thing we want. Actually, the eight reverse, right? We have the Eight of Cups reversed and the Eight of Pentacles reversed. We don't want to overthink. We don't want to overanalyze. Actually, people who overthink and overanalyze and make really strict plans, they're bothering us. We're like, stop it. But subconsciously, we're bothering us because we're that strict plan. We're the eight upright. So just be aware of this. All right. All right, Gemini. I hope this reading has resonated with you. I wish you nothing but light, love, peace, and happiness. May harmony always be with you. I'm sending loving, healing energy to each and every one of you. I love you all and stay safe. Let's end this reading with a meditation, a clearing away of negative energy, a raising of our positive energy as we embrace the power, intensity, and beauty of this time and of ourselves. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. May you move forward in peace and in harmony, Gemini. May blessings and prosperity always be with you. I love you all. God bless. Have a wonderful beginning of June. Bye.